my preference. I am not trying to compare somebody in Alabama to somebody in South Dakota. I'm trying to make the best possible envelope, the best possible performance for your site-specific set of conditions possible, okay? Now, what you'll see when you conserve is when you begin to log your data, and you log data on a yearly basis to get rid of the seasonal effects, okay? So you're looking at this one big yearly period. And if you've not done that, if you've not established your Excel spreadsheet, please do that. And backcast data. Don't think you have to wait for the next couple of years. Backcast your previous data and see how you looked. Okay, so when you start taking these conservation steps, you'll see this data start to drop on a per square footage basis. Okay, but sooner or later it stops. It's just like your car. Your car is going to get maximum gas mileage, end of discussion. Okay, it's only going to get certain gas mileage. And so once you maximize your car's gas mileage, you have really only a handful of alternatives. You can take public transportation. Well, you can carpool, take public transportation, you can ride a bicycle or walk. Okay? Those are the alternatives. Your buildings are going to do the same thing. What I'm leading up to is I conserved a business over a period of about 5 years. Got to the point where we literally halved normalized energy use for this particular manufacturing facility. But I wasn't getting any more. I was getting 30 miles per gallon. So what do? How then do I save money and improve environmental footprint? You know what I did? I went out and developed my local landfill for landfill gas supply. Not only did I save 30% on a per BTU basis, but I improved the community's both financial opportunity, because what's happened now is the community is selling a waste stream that they were throwing away and generating revenue for the community, which then reduced the tax burden on the residents. It cleaned up not only the air emissions from the landfill, but this was a non-subtitle D landfill. It started as an unlined landfill, which was beginning to contaminate the groundwater. As soon as we put this system in, the contamination of groundwater stopped. And the businesses who are using this were saving 30% on a million BTU business, per million BTU basis. Why in the world doesn't everybody do this? Folks, these are no-brainers. And oh yeah, by the way, I convinced the city to pay for it.
That's the problem.
No, it's not the problem. And you want to know something? I'm glad you said that. Oh boy, you just segued right in. You know what the problem is, and I'm going to put the onus right on the engineering discipline's shoulders, is because we as a group are taught to be risk averse, and my own peer group will not pick up the telephone and simply ask. What's the worst they're going to say? No? You know, when I first did this, and oh, by the way, this project was EPA Project of the Year in 2005. But when I started this and pitched this, people thought I was a lunatic because it had never been done before. So what's the first thing if somebody hits you with something? No! Oh, God, no. I've never seen that before. Well, you know something? All of us in this room, I think, are pretty talented people. We wouldn't be sitting here talking about this. My analytical work, my thermodynamic, I do a lot of work in thermodynamic models. And my thermodynamic models, through my years in industry, have never really lied to me. But I sure have had a peer group. I'm not picking on you, please don't. I've not had a peer group who understood what was being said. Well, I basically drew the line in the sand on this project, and I said, you know, even though this project appeared to not meet any EPA criteria for success, my pro forma and my due diligence said something completely different. And the reason for that is EPA has very, very conservative heuristics for success, particularly in landfills, because they have to have these global numbers that work in Arizona, that work in South Florida. Well, South Florida gets 60 inches of rain a year. Arizona gets 2 inches of rain a year. So they have these very, very conservative numbers. Well, I took the conservation out. I took a more balanced approach at this. And lo and behold, it worked, and it worked big time. But there's nothing different from me, folks. Any of y'all can pick up the phone and talk to your communities. Every community has a landfill. Every community does. It may not be a current landfill, but it's there. And these are wonderful opportunities to develop. And oh, by the way, I took this business completely carbon neutral, not only this site, but the entire North American. Okay. Oh, can you hear me now? Okay. No, and in addition to taking this facility carbon neutral, it took the entire North American manufacturing carbon neutral. This landfill, and by the way, it's right here in Georgia. If anybody wants to go down, man, I do a real hands-on tour. I will let you stick your tongue in the socket if you want to. And it's in LaGrange, Georgia. And there's nothing special about me. It's just that I get pretty bullheaded sometimes when somebody says I can't do something. So, again, talk to your communities. Your opportunities for savings and your opportunities for not only money savings but also environmental savings exist beyond your borders as well. And here's another interesting thing about all of this. As institutes of higher learning, these are wonderful projects for your students. This is exactly what students need to learn from. Now, whether it's landfill gas projects or other projects, these are wonderful teaching tools because they're going to come face to face with you and with me very early on in their career once they graduate. Get them started now. Make this a part of their social, let's say, maturation or their social process. I can tell you right now, most engineers who come out of school are scared to death. Oh, yeah, they're going to puff themselves up and look at me, you know. But in the end, they're not because they've never dealt with you or me. We've been in our career for a long time. We want some justification because there's somebody holding us accountable for the financial opportunity of our particular businesses. But these are wonderful, wonderful projects for students. And as a matter of fact, it's terrific to see everybody here today because I've seen this conference developed over the last 2 or 3 years. In fact, we pitched this idea to Dr. Joe Lowry about 2 years ago. And it is wonderful. Dr. Joe was just as supportive of, back then it was to the HBCUs, of this approach. And it's wonderful to see this group of people today. I mean, just it's terrific. I can't tell you how proud I am to be part of that. And to see the support that we got from Dr. Joe. So it's an interesting evolution for this as well. But getting back to conserving your facilities, yeah, this is a technical subject. But you can also build this into social, financial, environmental. It goes all over the map. And that's why the LaGrange landfill, as tiny as it is, as insignificant in the grand scheme of things as it is, it, honest to goodness, was a true triple win. We won the environment because we voluntarily remediated a landfill that was not required by federal law to remediate its air emissions. We won the environmental, the social side of this because the revenue, as I mentioned, is offsetting any bump in property taxes to support city services. And when you come to LaGrange, I'm going to take you on the square, and I'm going to show you the new sidewalks. I'm going to show you the new crossing buttons. I'm going to show you some new police cars. I'm going to show you things that all of a sudden they're getting $400,000, $500,000 a year to their small community as a result of a project that they were throwing away. Now, there are more things to do here. Guess what? Cities and your universities, if you have food service facilities, you use a lot of fry oil. You use a lot of compostable materials. If you're not developing these programs, again, these are wonderful student programs to work on. I drive an old diesel pickup truck, okay, sitting out in the deck if anybody wants to go for a ride. I love my diesel stuff, and my guess is if you all have facility physical plant services, you have tractors, you